Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Miss Angelo, and we are going to work on our science assignment for today. We are talking about rocks, and we read a book from Mayan, and we did a trifold for our assignment in class. I'm going to go ahead and play the book so that you have it. And then we're going to talk about what should be on our trifold, and then you also have your homework assignment, which is where we're going for tomorrow with weathering and erosion. So let me go ahead and open up our book.
Rocks. Hard, soft, smooth, and rough. By Natalie M. Rosensky. Illustration by Matthew John. The story of rocks. See the rock at your feet? Pick it up. Hold it in your hands. Is it smooth and sparkly? Is it soft and sandy? Is it marked with the shape of a shell?
Yes.
Look closely at a rock, and you can learn its story. Fun fact: some rocks are 4 billion years old. That's 4 billion years. Think of all the stories rocks can tell.
Okay, hold on.
A lot of things can happen to rocks. They can crack. They can break into a million tiny pieces. They can be pressed or squeezed together. Rocks can even melt. Pools of hot, melted rock hide deep inside the earth. Fun fact: the ground underneath oceans, fields, beaches, and forests is rock.
Okay, thank you.
You might see specks or larger stripes of different colors in your rock. These specks and stripes are different kinds of minerals. Minerals are the basic building blocks of rocks. Rubies and diamonds are minerals. People carve them into gems that sparkle in necklaces and rings. Fun fact: diamonds are the hardest natural things in the world. Diamonds are so strong they can even cut through steel. Igneous rocks. Rocks form in 3 ways. In the first way, melted rock bubbles up from inside the earth. Then it cools down and becomes hard, igneous rock. If your rock looks like black glass, it may be obsidian. Obsidian is an igneous rock that bubbled up from inside the earth and cooled off above ground. Rough, freckled granite is an igneous rock that cooled underground. Fun fact: Native Americans once carved obsidian into sharp knives and arrowheads. Speckled granite is often used for gravestones and countertops. Sedimentary rocks. Rocks also form when sand and other natural things are squeezed together until they turn hard. This second kind of rock is called sedimentary rock. These rocks are a little softer than igneous rocks. Plants, animal bodies, shells, sand, and chips of other rocks pile up on the bottom of oceans and rivers. This mixture is called sediment. As the mixture piles up, it gets heavy, and the sediment at the bottom gets squeezed together. It turns harder and harder until it is rock, sedimentary rock. This rock can take millions of years to form. If you see grains of crumbly sand in your rock, it might be sandstone. Dull and gritty, sandstone is a sedimentary rock made of sand, red, brown, green, or yellow. Fun fact: Some Native Americans once lived in homes in sandstone cliffs. If you see squiggles and bumps from little shells and skeletons in your rock, it might be limestone. Limestone, another sedimentary rock, is made of shells from ocean animals that lived a long time ago. Fun fact: today, people use limestone to make sidewalks and buildings. Some sedimentary rocks tell stories about the past, stories of forgotten forests and vanished seas. They tell tales of creatures that swam, slithered, or crept. Fossils are made from plants and animals that died thousands or millions of years ago. The plants and animals became buried in layers of sediment. Over time, they turned into rock. Fun fact: scientists learn about dinosaurs by studying fossils of bones, teeth, eggs, nests, and droppings. Each fossil is a clue. For example, the shape of a dinosaur tooth can show whether a dinosaur ate meat or plants. Metamorphic rocks. The third kind of rock is made from other rocks. Heat and pressure deep inside the earth can change rocks from one kind to another. Metamorphic rocks can come from igneous or sedimentary rock. After time, the heat and pressure can even turn a metamorphic rock into a new metamorphic rock. If your rock is hard and full of colorful swirls, it might be marble. Marble is a metamorphic rock made from limestone that cooked inside the earth. Fun fact: artists carve marble into statues that tell their own special stories. Rocks are all around you. Rocks lie at your feet or sit silently by the river's edge. Rocks make a giant cliff, a magnificent building, or a grand sculpture. Rocks hang around your neck or sparkle on your fingers. Look closely at them. What stories do these rocks tell?
Okay, so now we're going to talk about our graphic organizer that we're going to do. So we have our piece of paper here and we want to fold it into thirds. So I am going to, let me move this paper for a second. I'm going to fold this over about 2/3 of the way when my paper is horizontal originally. And then I'm going to fold over the next flap over top. So it creates like a pamphlet. And then I have my thirds here, and I'm going to separate my sections. And we're going to write the type of rocks, So there are 3 types of rocks, and types of rocks means like family of rocks. So it's not a particular name of a rock, but it is the overall type. And the types are significant about the way they are made. So our types of rocks, we have igneous, rocks. So this is the igneous rock family. We have metamorphic, rocks, and we have sedimentary rocks. Pardon me. So these are our 3 families of rocks, or they say type of rocks. So this is like the umbrella. And then underneath the family of rocks are the different names of the rocks. So we're going to put like an umbrella. There's our umbrella. and this is for our igneous rocks. And underneath our igneous rocks are different names of rocks. And the book talks about, and I'm going to model this first one for you, and then you will work on metamorphic and sedimentary, unless you already did it in class. So the first one, it talks about obsidian. That's one of the kinds of rocks that are underneath igneous rock type. And it talked about obsidian being a fast cooling igneous rock. So it's a fast cool igneous rock. And the book also talked about granite, which is a slow cooling igneous rock. And one of the very important things that we need to know is how are igneous rocks formed. So I'm going to put formation here because formation means the forming of the rock. So the formation process for igneous rocks are hot liquid magma. So it is hot magma. Magma is liquid rock. Hot magma cools to create igneous rock. Igneous rock. Now, we talked about fast cool and slow cool. Those are the differences here. So fast cool rock is fast cooling. I'm gonna write that here. Fast cooling igneous rock has a glass-like appearance. Glass-like. Because it cools so quickly that the minerals don't have time to form the big mineral bonds. And then you have slow cooling, which has a textured look. So this one looks like glass and this one has a textured look. That means it's kind of bumpy looking. All right, and then we're going to draw a picture of a volcano here because you can't have igneous rocks without a volcano because it's liquid magma and that comes out of volcanoes. And so you have your magma or your liquid rock that is inside your volcano. And when a volcano erupts, it shoots out, okay? And this magma that shoots out, this is what creates our fast cooling because it shoots out and then it's exposed to the air and it is the fast cooling kind. So it would run down the mountain and it would run down the volcanic edge and it would fast cool and then you get that glass look appearance. So the magma that leaves the volcano is the fast cooling. The magma that cools on the inside, that's your slow cooling. That's your slow cool. And one of the things that we talked about is how we don't have any igneous rocks in Florida. So not in Florida. They can't be here because we don't have any igneous rocks, not in Florida. And FL, capital F, capital L stands for Florida. And one of the things that we put all the way across the bottom, because it applies to all three types of rocks, is that the building block of rocks are minerals. So I'm going to write that big across the bottom. The building block of rocks are minerals. And that applies to all three types of rocks, even if they're made, even if it says, and you'll find out another type of rock is made from different pieces of things, it still starts with that basic building block of minerals. So that's the building block for all of them. So I put that arrow there, and this arrow here, and this arrow here. So what the expectation is to obviously listen to the book, give us the
types of rocks that they gave you as examples, not types, the names of the rocks they gave you as examples. Tell how the rock is formed and any other notes that are pertinent to the rock, to the type of rock. And I also need to know, do you think this rock would occur in Florida? Now that isn't in the book, but if you listen to the way the rock is formed, you can make that conclusion as to whether it is made in Florida. So, or whether you would find them in Florida. So I'm gonna, over here, just so you know, we need our umbrella, UMBRELLA. We need our names of rocks. And if it only gives you one, that's fine. But every rock has some name of rock they give you. Name of rock, formation, important notes. So stuff that they might tell you about how long it takes to form, about what you might find in those rocks, about where they could be, when did they start, whatever kind of important info about that particular rock that the book may have given you. And Florida, would they be in Florida? That's the last thing. So this is what the expectation is for the other two columns under metamorphic and sedimentary for the book that we just read. So, and we will, you will be able to use this on your quiz that you have. So please make sure you get this done. The next thing, which is what, this is what we did in class today, for those of us that weren't in class or those of us that didn't get it finished. And this is the homework. Let me get another colored piece of paper. So the homework is a sheet of paper laying horizontal, folded in half. We're going to split it in half. And there are two terms that we need to define because we're going to read and work on that tomorrow. The two terms that we need to define, so this is a vocabulary graphic organizer, is weathering and erosion. The requirements for this is you need the definition. You need an image, so that's a drawing, and it needs to be colored. So that is the expectation. Now I'm going to turn this over and give you an example. So in class, I did give the example about a stem, but let's say our, let's talk about, let's say our word was kinetic energy. We learned about that before, so let's put that on here. So kinetic energy. And so kinetic energy is energy caused by movement. Energy caused by movement. So that's my definition. And then I need to draw an image, movement. And I got to show that something is in motion. So this is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to draw a table. All right, so I got my table and here's my ball. All right, there's my ball. And then I'm going to have my little arrows here to show that the ball went this way. And it obviously will be going this way. And then I'm going to put a hand here that shows how it was pushed. That is the world's worst hand, but that's okay. All right, so the hand pushed the ball that was on the table. Now the ball is in motion. It's energy caused by movement. So it's in motion. I'm going to write in motion here. And it needed to be colored. So let's see here. I'm going to have an orange table on my orange paper here. All right, and then I'm going to have my yellow ball. Well, they all look orange because it's on the paper, but oh well. And so there I have my colored image. I have it labeled. I have my definition, and I have the word written on my graphic organizer for my vocabulary. Again, the words are weathering and erosion, and you need the definition, the image, and it needs to be colored. And we will discuss those tomorrow, but we do need to have a good understanding about what they are before we can learn about all the pieces of it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Again, this is the video about what we did in class and our homework for tonight.